Hello and welcome back to the Drag Detective, where today we are going to be discussing something a little bit different. I am going to be breaking down every single queen who has won a challenge on the regular seasons of American Drag Race and has yet to return for All Stars. And honestly, it's a pretty short list. I would say most of everyone that has won a challenge has come back at this point, and almost no queen who has won more than one challenge has not come back. So we're just going to break down who has yet to come back, maybe some of the reasons why, and how likely it is I think that they will return. But before we get into all of that, make sure you are following me on my Instagram and my Twitter. Well, I do this every single week. There are links. Cool. Also, Patreon. Yeah, that's a thing. Okay, cool. Let's just get into the video. We're going to go season by season. So there's only one queen from season 1 who has yet to return after winning a challenge, and that is Rebecca Glasscock. Now, she won the makeover challenge, which, to this day is very sus. We'll get to it whenever I get to the riggery of season 1. But she won that challenge fair and square, at least in the eyes of the producers, and she has never come back for the show. Now, she actually did appear on season 10 with all of the other season 1 girls for a little reunion, but as far as I'm aware, and as far as her Instagram has shown, that's one of the last times she has done drag. She actually quit drag, then did drag for the season 10 reunion, and there was some buzzing that she might come back for All Stars, but it seems like since then she has stopped doing drag again. So I am going to give Rebecca a cold case, meaning she is probably not going to come back. We're going to give out cold case, open case, and gold case, which if you've watched the podcast or have listened to the podcast, that's what we do on there. That is what I'm going to give the girls here of what I think their chances are of coming back. Rebecca, at this point, I think is a cold case and is not going to be returning for All Stars, at least anytime soon, as she just doesn't do drag anymore. Now, season 2, we have 2 girls to talk about, and the first is Sahara Davenport, who won the dance challenge. I guess I can just say stripper challenge in season 2's second episode. Unfortunately, Sahara died in 2012 from heart complications, so obviously she's not returning. But I am very, very confident that she 100% would have been asked back. She was an amazing queen. She is one of the original lip sync assassins. I mean, that moment of her jumping off the stage into a split is still like one of the best moments ever. And the fact that she beat Morgan McMichaels in a lip sync just proves how incredible her talent was, and we lost her way, way too soon. The other queen on season 2 is someone I'm giving a gold case to. I think we for sure are going to see Jessica Wilde return to Drag Race soon. Now, this is like a little bit spoilery, but I mean, not really. We're not really sure if there's going to be an All-Star 7 next year, or if All-Star 7 is going to be put off in favor of doing all winners next year, and then All-Star 7 might happen the year after. We're not sure, but especially after Jessica's appearance on All-Star 6 as the lip sync assassin, she did incredible. She looked incredible, and the fan reception was basically, why has Jessica Wilde not been on All-Stars yet? She actually won the Rock and Roll Challenge on season 2, and unfortunately sashayed away the week right after, but she has been doing drag ever since. She is stunning, she's incredible, and she has been on people's wish list for a very long time. So I think that her being a lip sync assassin on All-Star 6 was kind of like a test run, maybe, because, like, let's be honest, she's not a lip sync assassin. She's had one lip sync on Drag Race, which she lost. She's not a lip sync assassin. I think that they brought her on as a test run. Let's see what the audience's reaction is to Jessica, and based off of that, we can see if we want her on All Stars. And based on the reaction, based on how incredible she looked, and how incredible her lip sync performance was, I think Jessica is for sure going to be asked back, especially because there's not that many girls left from those really early seasons who have yet to come back for All Stars and like are still doing drag or like people would even want to see come back. So Jessica is one of the last queens left from like I would say the first 3 seasons that people really want to see. So I think she is a lock at some point. Whenever All Star 7 happens, I would honestly be surprised if she was not on it. And I am so excited to see her come back. So Jessica, I think, is our first gold case of this video. Now we move on to season 3, where we only have one queen, and that is Miss Stacey Lane Matthews. Now, if you remember, she was on All Stars 4. There was a whole challenge basically about her and her iconic catchphrase, Hanny, but she wasn't competing. She was just there for that one episode, and then she made a couple little appearances randomly throughout the season, which I'm still not sure why, but hey, I'm never mad to see Stacey on my screen. But there was some tea that came out after her appearance where she basically said she thought she was on the season. She thought she was cast on All Stars 4. And then they actually came and were like, actually, you're not. We're just going to use you for this one challenge. And then it seemed like maybe they were test running. Like, that's what people were thinking at the time. But then it came out in 2020. She tweeted that something was said to her on the set of All Stars 4 that made her come to the decision that she would never come back to All Stars. Whether that was her decision, whether that was producer's decision, whatever it is, it does not seem likely that she is going to be back for All Stars. But I am going to leave this as an open case because people want her back so badly. Now, it is pretty well known that Stacey has had some health problems. She has a hard time standing for long periods of time, and obviously that makes it very hard to cast her on an All-Star season. But, like, let's say Stacey's health improves, and let's say that a couple years down the line she's back doing full-time drag with no health problems. I really don't see a reason why they wouldn't want her back. I mean, she won the Snatch Game. She was Monique, and she's one of those early people from those seasons that kind of introduced how Snatch Game works. I would say Tatiana and Pandora and Stacey were really the pioneers of Snatch Game. And I just think it would be a shame to never see her come back. So while I think it's unlikely right now, I don't want to say cold case because, again, if her health improves and she gets back out there in the world of drag in the next couple of years, which I would absolutely love to see, I just don't see why you wouldn't bring her back. She's so funny. She's iconic. She, to this day, is someone people want to see. So I really hope that we see Stacey Lane Matthews come back. And I hope that, more importantly, I just want to see Stacey Lane Matthews healthy and happy. So all my best wishes out to Stacey. And let's move on to season 4, where we have 2 queens. We have first Madame LaQueer, who is one of those queens that I think people forget actually won a challenge. She won episode 2's wrestling challenge with Chad. She was pretty iconic, and it was kind of a big storyline of the episode where she had a knee injury or an ankle injury and wasn't sure how she was even going to do this challenge. So they're really setting up like the underdog edit. She was last picked to be in the challenge. So she goes out and she does amazing and she wins it. And it was a great moment for her. Now we know she doesn't last much longer, but she still won a challenge. Now, do I think she's going to come back? I really don't know. I'm going to leave it as an open case. Because there's no reason why she wouldn't. She doesn't have health problems. She still does drag. She's still out there. She's never said, like, I will never, ever come back as long as I live. So I'm, going to leave it as an open case. I don't necessarily think producers are, like, vying for Madame LaQueer to return. But I could see maybe down the line them being like, we need someone from an earlier season. Why don't we call up LaQueer and just see what she's up to? Do I see it? Maybe. I mean, I don't think it's, like, for sure, and I don't think it's never going to happen, so I'm just going to leave it as an open. But what do you guys think? Would you guys want to see Madame LaQueer back? I think it would be one of those really unexpected choices, but as we know on All Stars, some of those unexpected choices turn out to be amazing picks, and the queens come back and show how much they have grown. And I think that would be amazing for Madame LaQueer. So I'm here for it. Let's move on to the second, which is one of the biggest queens of the show ever. And it is a full shame she has never returned. That is Willem. I want to give this a cold case because I just don't think Willem needs to come back. She is one of the biggest queens from the show ever. And she honestly did that mostly on her own. Like, I don't think the show was necessarily what propelled her into the success that she's had. So I don't think she needs to come back. I'm gonna leave it as an open case though, because I'm hesitant to say it will never happen. Now, Willem won 2 challenges on the show. She's one of the few queens to have won 2 challenges and never come back. She won both the boat challenge, which was iconic, and also the like little stand-up singing song thing that she was partnered with Latrice. And then she won, and then that episode she gets disqualified. So she won 2 challenges. She did pretty decent on season 4. And I think that if she were to come back and like really try, I think she would do incredible. But the question is, would she come back? She has spilled so much tea on production and talked so much shit on RuPaul and the whole experience. Obviously, she has cut ties with WoW Presents, but I just feel like they would want her back at some point. I don't think she would come back to a regular All Stars, but I think that if we have down the line like a Legend season, I could see Willem doing that. So for All Stars, I think it's a cold case, but if they do some kind of like big season with like the biggest names of Drag Race, I think she might come back. I think that she said sometimes, like, I might come back. And then other times she's like, no, I'm never doing that again. Screw RuPaul, screw WoW Presents. So, I don't know. I'm going to leave it as open, but I am definitely leaning more towards cold than gold. So, that's where I'm at with Willem. Now we have 2 queens from season 5. Now, as we know, basically half this cast has come back at this point. And there's still 2 queens that won a challenge that have not had their shot. The first is Lanacia Sparks, who won the like lip sync challenge where they lip synced moments from old seasons Untucked. Will Lanacia come back? I hope so. I really hope so. But I just don't feel confident in saying that she will. I'm not going to give her a cold case. I am going to leave it as an open case because she's never said, as far as I'm aware, she never ever wants to return as long as she lives. But I also don't feel like she's campaigning to come back either, like Trinity K. Bonet did for years, like Dita Ritz has been doing for years. Fans recently have been pushing for her to come back, so maybe she'll be on WoW's radar a little bit more. But I just feel like there's other queens that might get precedent over Lanacia because she's not a huge personality, because she didn't make huge waves on the season. But she is gorgeous and beautiful and talented, and I think her runways on All Stars would be mind boggling. So I'm hoping that we get to see Lanacia back. I'm not super confident it's going to happen, but I wouldn't rule it out entirely. So we'll leave it as an open case. Let's move on to the other queen from season 5, Ivy Winters, who won the singing challenge, the iconic Can I Get Her Amen? And I don't think we're gonna see Ivy come back. Honestly, I'm gonna give this a cold case, but it's like so close to an open case, but I'm gonna give it a cold case, and here's why. Ivy has not been doing drag since the pandemic started, and I think even before that, she wasn't really doing it all that frequently. Obviously, Ivy is a jack of all trades. She is an artist, she's a gardener, she's a drag queen. Like, she can do everything on the planet. And if you follow her, literally she'll be like, oh, I just printed some wallpaper. Now I'm putting up my own custom wallpaper in my house. Or, oh, hey, I just built an entire school for children in Africa from scratch on my own. Like, this girl can do literally anything in the world. And I don't think that drag is necessarily her priority anymore. I think that she's just happy to be doing some of her art and planting in her garden, and that is fulfilling enough for her. And I say to that, you go, Queen. Like, you do you. I'm just happy to see you happy. I think that Ivy had a potential moment to come back, maybe All Stars 3, maybe All Stars 4, but I think her moment has passed, and I would be elated to see her come back, but I just don't think that WoW or Ivy herself is really all that invested in bringing her back. So I'm going to give her a cold case. I unfortunately do not think we're going to see Ivy Winters come back to All Stars at least any time in the near future, like maybe All Stars 10 or something. So now let's move on to season 6, which is one of the most iconic seasons of all time. You could basically bring back anyone from this cast, and they have brought a lot back, but there are still 3 queens who won a challenge and have yet to return. The first is Darienne Lake, who won the slasher movie, 80s horror movie challenge as the head in the box. And I would have thought that Darienne won more challenges because she is just such a legend and an icon. And I'm so happy to see her on her fitness journey. I'm so happy to see her still doing drag. She is amazing at that as well. She's been on tours, she's been on all kinds of stuff. So I am surprised we have not seen Darienne back. People thought she was on All Stars 3, and I just would have thought we'd seen her by now. I think it'll happen eventually. I'm going to give her a gold case. We're definitely going to see Darienne back because Darienne is someone who's not afraid to come off mean or come off rude. Like, she's not someone who's going to self-produce in order for the fandom to like her, which is exactly the kind of queen that producers love because they can give the shady edit and make the drama and all of that. And Darienne has been through it, and you know what? She is such a legend. I want to see her and Kasha on together, 2 Rochester icons on together. So I'm gonna give her a gold case. I really want to see her soon. We will see her eventually, I think. So let's move on to the second queen, who is Courtney Act, another queen who won 2 challenges and has yet to come back. She won both the Rusical and the Talk Show challenge. And will Courtney come back? No. No, it's a cold case. She and RuPaul do not like each other. RuPaul blocked her, famously. And honestly, Courtney just doesn't need it. Like, Courtney is doing fine. She's doing things all over the place. She's a household name in Australia. I could see her even hosting Drag Race Down Under. Like, that is what she should be doing, not coming back for All Stars. So, Courtney's made it very clear she's not interested to compete again. And I really just don't think she needs to. She's already a superstar. So, yeah, cold case for Courtney. But let's talk about the last queen, and I think the most controversial queen from season 6 who has won a challenge and yet to come back, and that is Laganja Estranja, who, again, we just saw come back for All Star 6 as a lip sync assassin and completely slay. Right now, Laganja is who everyone is obsessed with and who I think should come back because there's just so much storyline potential for her and so much growth that I think we would love to see on the show from her. That I think that she would go far. I think that one, producers would want to see her go far, which is always good. And I think that she just has the raw talent and has honed in on her skills and who she is as a person that she could go all the way. The thing is, does Laganja want to come back? Laganja has flipped back and forth on if she wants to come back. It seemed like she might possibly going to be on All Star 6, and my little theory is that she was cast on All Star 6 when Adore was doing All Star 6. And when Adore dropped, I think they probably dropped Laganja and they just brought her on as a lip sync assassin. Again, that is just a theory I have, but she was very, very pushing to be on All Star 6. She was pushing hard. And, I mean, she manifested it because she came back for All Star 6 to be a lip sync assassin and had, like, the most iconic moment she's ever had on the show with that physical lip sync. Now she's saying she doesn't want to come back, and that was the end of her Drag Race journey, and she's done. But we have seen Laganja flip back and forth throughout the years. She could change her mind in a year and be like, no, I'm out on All Star 7. I'm down for this. So I'm going to leave this as an open case.
Meh.
Now we have season 7. And we have two queens. First, we have Max, who is another queen who won two challenges. She won the Shakespeare Acting Challenge and the Despy Award Challenge along with Pearl. And Pearl is also on this list, and another queen who won two challenges. She won the Despy Challenge with Max and the Makeover Challenge. Max and Pearl, I'm both going to give a cold case to. Max, I don't know what is up with Max. She's been gone for a while, but she's been teasing a return, but no one really knows. She's talked pretty negatively about WoW in the past and how they portrayed her on the show. And Pearl obviously has the infamous rivalry with RuPaul. I just don't see either of them, one, being asked, or two, necessarily wanting to come back. So these are two easy cold cases for me. As much as I would love to see them both come back, I just don't see it in the cards for them. Now we have season 8, and we have two queens who I'm giving cold cases to again, and they are Kimchi and Robbie Turner. Now, Kimchi won two challenges. She won the very first design challenge and then the ball challenge, and Robbie Turner won the New Wave band challenge. Robbie Turner, everyone knows the Uber story. Very unfortunate. We're all hoping Robbie is doing well with her mental health. And honestly, that's just what I want to see from Robbie. I don't need to see her back on All Stars. I just want to see Robbie okay. Like, really. I just hope she's doing okay. And I think after everything that has happened, she hasn't been in the public eye. She hasn't posted on Instagram. She hasn't been doing drag. I just don't think that Robbie's necessarily in the place to come back to All Stars. And then there's Kimchi, who is someone who just doesn't need it. I don't think she would do particularly well. I think she knows that. And I think that she has her multi-million-dollar makeup company. She has her YouTube channel. She's on all the tours. Like, she doesn't need to come back, and she knows that. So if they have another thing like the Hollis Slay special, I think we should expect to see her do stuff like that. But as for like coming back for All Stars, I don't think it's gonna happen. So they're both getting cold cases from me. Now we're starting to get into the more recent seasons. We're in the VH1 era, and there's still time for these queens to come back. It's not like these queens from ages and ages ago who just have never been asked. Like, this is some pretty recent seasons, but we're gonna talk about them regardless. Season 9, we have Alexis Michelle, Nina Bonina Brown, and Peppermint. Now, Nina Bonina Brown won the Lady Gaga ball in the first episode. And will Nina come back? It's an open case. Meh. I was really, really rooting for Nina to come back, but as we all know, Nina has made some pretty questionable remarks about trans women and just trans people in general, which is not obviously good. So I just don't know with how public Nina's transphobic remarks were that they necessarily would even want to have her on. Obviously, Trinity K. Bonet has said some transphobic stuff as well, but I just don't think as many people know about it, so it wasn't as big of a deal maybe. I'm not sure. But Nina also has been flipping back and forth whether she wants to come back or not. And she's made it public as well that they've asked her. But they've asked her for All Stars 5 when Shea Coulee was on, and she was not about to just be on to be a part of Shea's story. So, I don't know. I think that was her probably best opportunity to come back. But will she come back now? I'm going to leave it an open case because I do think there is the possibility. But I think Nina would have to really make amends with the trans community that she has said horrible things about, that she still stands to. And then it's like, would fans even want to see her on? I mean, I particularly don't need to now. So, I don't know. She has the talent. She just needs to get everything else in order. And it's a possibility, I guess, still, but it's open, leaning more towards cold at this point for me. Now we have Peppermint. Peppermint is a gold case. And let's just talk about Alexis Michelle now, too. They're both gold case. They both won one challenge each. Peppermint won the roast, and Alexis won Snatch Game. Two pretty important challenges. Again, I think they're coming back. It's just when. Alexis obviously did not get a good edit on season 9, but she's had her own show on TLC, and she's doing great. So I think eventually we are for sure going to see Alexis Michelle. I actually really wanted to see her on All Star 6 with Jan, her drag daughter. I think that could have been a really interesting storyline. But yeah, we might have to wait a little bit longer for Alexis Michelle. Peppermint, Weirdly, Peppermint said she's never been asked, which is strange because she was one of the biggest characters, queens, and has so many legendary moments on season 9. But obviously, she's been on Broadway. She has all this stuff going on. So maybe they just were waiting for her to have a moment to breathe in her career to maybe come back. I'm not sure. I would be shocked if Peppermint did not come back. She is one of those queens that I think is going to get the crown. When Peppermint comes back, I think Peppermint will probably win. That's a bold statement, but I mean, she's iconic. She's incredible, and she's still memeing all over the place. So Peppermint is getting a gold case as well as Alexis Michelle. Now let's talk about season 10. We have 3 queens. The Vixen won the Farmarusical, and I'm gonna give her a cold case just because she has talked so negatively about RuPaul and about the show. She again has flipped back and forth whether she wants to come back or not, but she's been pretty adamant about not coming back for a while now, so I just don't see it. Asia O'Hara, who won 2 challenges, she won the Tap That App challenge as well as the Breast World Acting Challenge. And let's also talk about Cameron Michaels, who won the Cher Rusical. I think they're both coming back. I'm giving them both gold cases. Again, it's just when. They have been touring nonstop basically since season 10. So I think it's more about just when they need to. They haven't needed to come back. Their careers have been flourishing. They're doing great. So why would you need to go back? So yeah, I think they will for sure be back. It's just a matter of when. And now the last season we're going to really talk about is season 11. We saw 4 girls from season 11 on All Star 6. So there's only a couple left that won challenges that have not come back. And that is Brooklyn Heights, Nina West, and Plastique Tiara. And honestly, all 3 of them are doing incredible. Plastique is TikTok famous and like very, very TikTok famous. Brooklyn literally hosts Canada's Drag Race. And Nina West has been working with Disney for like a long time now. So they are all doing amazing, huge things in their careers. And they don't really need to come back right now. Like, they don't need to. I'm going to give them all gold cases because I do think eventually they will come back. Brooklyn probably when Canada's Drag Race ends. Nina probably could come back whenever, and Plastique whenever. But, like, they don't need to come back anytime soon. So I'm not, like, shocked that we haven't seen them yet. And I wouldn't be shocked if we didn't see them on the next All-Stars. But I think eventually they will all come back. They're all huge names. Now, we're just going to kind of buzz through seasons 12 and 13 because they really have not had time to come back for All-Stars. Season 12, the winners of the challenges were Widow Von Du, Shitty Pie, Gigi Good, Heidi N Closet, and Crystal Method. Obviously, Shitty Pie is never coming back, and Good. I think the rest are all going to come back at some point. They're all iconic. They're all amazing. Obviously, Widow has had some legal problems in the last couple months, but we're not really sure even the full story of that, so I'm not going to say that's going to, like, hinder her potentially coming back. So other than that, I think all of them are going to come back. They've all said they wanted to come back, so it's just a matter of when. And again, like, their careers are all doing pretty good right now, so they don't really need to come back right now. And then season 13, honestly, I think literally this entire cast is going to come back on season 13. But the challenge winners were Denali, Gottmik, Olivia, Rose, Utica, and Candy, and I think we're all going to come back. Like, they've all said, I think at this point, that they would come back. Yeah, that is all of the queens who have not won their seasons, but won a challenge and have not come back for All-Stars. Not including seasons 12 and 13, there are 24 queens from seasons 1 to 11 that have won a challenge and not come back. And I think we're going to see a decent amount come back. I think the biggest locks for me of those 11 seasons are Jessica Wilde. I really think we're going to see Darian Lake. I think Alexis and Peppermint, Asia and Cameron, and for sure Nina West. I think those are the ones that, like, we will 100% see soon, if not All-Star 7. That could literally be our All-Star 7 cast. Who knows at this point? And then obviously we have so many iconic queens from seasons 12 and 13 who are for sure coming back as well. Some of them didn't win a challenge and weren't mentioned in this video, but I still think queens like Jackie Cox or LaLa Ri, like, we're going to see them back. So we already have an iconic group of queens ready for whatever All-Stars comes next, whether it's next year, whether it's in 2 years. And if they're going in the direction that they have with All Star 6, I am so excited to see it. So I want you to give me your dream All Stars 7 cast in the comments below. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is a little something different today, but I figured we're still talking about All Stars. We're just not doing the riggery of, which we'll get back to very soon. Here are my socials, and I want to say thank you, of course, to my beautiful, iconic, amazing patrons. Thank you guys so much for watching. It has been an incredible day of solving the mystery of when we're getting Jessica Wilde on All Stars. Literally, please, I'm begging. I am begging. I don't know which producer I need to sleep with. I guess I'll talk to Pearl about that, but whatever I need to do to get Jessica Wilde on, I'm gonna do. So, thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.